universal constants, no? Yun. So, yun yung ginagamit natin today, no? So, yung mga SI units natin, ang basis nun ay mga universal constants na. So, with that idea last time, no? So, yun, we're able to come up with the SI system, no? And then, the SI units rather, no? And then we are able also to derive other measurements, no? Na based dito sa SI system, no? SI units natin, no? So, yun, if you cube the length, no? You will have the unit for volume. No? So, yung nakwento natin last time. And then, if you get the ratio of your mass and your volume naman, you get the density. So yun, then we ended our discussion last time by answering some problems regarding density. Then, uh, another thing na inaral natin is the temperature scale. So, we studied the history, no? So, ano yung basis ng Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin? So, Fahrenheit is based on body temperatures, no? Celsius is based on the phenomena that exist sky water, no? So, yun, the boiling and the melting of water, no? So, yun yung basis ni Celsius, no? So, si Kelvin naman, his basis, no, is yung atoms itself, no? If they move, that means there is a thermal energy. That means may temperature reading, no? Okay. So if there's no movement, that means there is no thermal energy, hence no temperature reading. We call that point na walang reading, we call it the absolute zero or 0 Kelvin. And that is the lowest possible temperature to be achieved dito sa universe, no? And unfortunately, wala pang nakakaabot doon, no? And yun. So, yun lang. So, yun. And last time we emphasized on the importance of conversion factors, no? Because there are lots of incidents, no? Not only this one, pero ito yung pinakamahal kasi, no? This is the most pricey incident, no? That that shows that you have to convert units, no, in accordance to what is required, no. Yeah. So hindi mo pwede gawin yung isang pound ay equivalent into Newton, you just change the units, no. As soon as you change the units, no, the values must also change, no. So we have to use the conversion factors indeed, no. So yan. So actually we covered most of our topic, no? Most of our scope of study last time, no? So if you want to rewatch, no, you have the links with you naman sa kabilang group chat natin. But I'm planning to upload them on YouTube, so hindi nyo na kailangan i-access siya sa stream, no? So yun. So anyway, yun, no? So we will now proceed with just some few additional knowledge, no? Para sa subject natin na to. So maybe maaga tayong matatapos, no? Kasi we're left with just few slides, no? Anyway, then we will end our discussion by answering just some few problems, no? Para mas gamay natin yung lesson, no? And the answers for the worksheets, no? I will upload them on kailan kaya? Monday, no? Because Monday is holiday. Yun. So, may time ako makagawa ng mga additional materials, so on and so forth. So, yan. Sige. So, let's start with our focus of topic today, no? So, yan. For example, we have this very big number, no? So, sabi dyan, if you have 12 grams of carbon, you have 602, hindi ko na alam tawag dito, 1,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, something. O basta if you have 12 grams of carbon, you have 602, 200, 000, 000, number of atoms, no? So yan, so ganun karaki yung number, no? The problem with those numbers, with those types of number, yung mga malalaki yung zeros, is that pag sinulat mo yan ng paulit-ulit, nakakatamad, di ba? And there is a chance, no, that you may miss 1 0 or you may add extra zeros, no, na hindi nyo napapansin, no? Kasi ang dami, no? So, kunwari, I'm a scientist, I'm going to write that number, no? So, yan. So, pag sinulat ko yan, most likely, bilang ako, medyo tinatamad ako magsulat pag maraming numbers, eh. So, yun, no? Pwedeng ma-miss ko yung isang zero, no? So, it is time-consuming kasi you have to verify if you have the correct numbers, no? If you have the correct number of zeros in your digit, no? So, yun, no? Ano pa? Bukod sa time-consuming, isa pa is, yun, no? Para, ang haba kasi, no? Masyado siyang expanded, no? So, the scientists, no? Ang ginawa nila is that they tried to make these big numbers, no? Or even small numbers, no? They want to compress those numbers, no? In such way na mas mapapadali yung life natin, no? When doing measurements, no? So, yun. So, we want our life to be easier, no? Than writing all the zeros, no? Okay, so sayang kasing oras, no? So, ang ginawa nila is that they devised a notation, no? Notation meaning way of writing, no? And they call it the scientific notation, no? Okay, so what is a scientific notation? So, scientific notation is just a method of writing numbers, no? So, we can rewrite that as 6.022 times 10 raised to 23, no? Okay, so this means ito ay equivalent dito, no? Same sila, no? The good thing with the scientific notation is that, yun, time saver siya. You just write this, you can write the exponent part, no? Easier to remember then kasi ito, hindi ko kabisado yan, no? Kung gaano karaming zeros, no? But unlike this one, no? Na madali siya kabisaduhin, no? 6.00 times 10 raised to 23. Something, no? So, yun. So, mas madali yung buhay if we are able to write numbers, no? Big numbers or small numbers into its compressed form, no? And we call that version the scientific notation, no? Kunwari naman, we're dealing with a very, very small number. Ayan, no? Kapag nakalimutan nyo yung isang zero dyan, mali na yung number nyo. Or kapag sumobra ng isang zero dyan, mali na rin yung number nyo. So, dealing with huge numbers of zeros is a pain, no? Masakit siya. Kasi ang daming zeros, no? So, instead, we write those numbers into its scientific notation version, which is this one, no? Ay, parang ano nangyari? So, yun, no? Okay, so, the question now is, how do we write numbers in scientific notations, no? So, ganito lang yan, no? As you can see, we have two parts, no, for the scientific notation, no. The first part is the capital letter N, no. Okay. So the first part of the scientific notation is this capital letter N, no. This is called the coefficient, no. The coefficient part, no. Okay. So this is any number between 1 to 10, no, or 1.9.999, so on and so forth, no. So, hindi pwede itong maging 10 beyond, no. So, below 10 lang siya, no. And also, it should not be any number less than 1, no. Hindi siya pwede decimal, kundi just between 1 and this number, no. So, 1.99 and so forth, so on and so forth, no. So, yan. So, the coefficient is any number between this range, no? Between 1 to 9.999. So, bawal yung 0.1, bawal yung 10, bawal yung 20, no? So, yan. So, just between 1 to 9, no? So, yan. So, that is the coefficient part. And this part, this is the exponential part. And exponential part yan, no? Okay, so, yun. So, times 10, kasi decimal system na tayo, starting the introduction of the metric system, no? So this small letter n, this is the exponent, no? Ito yung exponent mismo. This tells you how many, ay, natabunan. Wala. Ayan, nawala na siya. Okay, ay, ba yan? Okay, so this is the coefficient part, no? And this one is the exponent part, no? So the exponent part tells you how many places you move your decimal point, no? In order to come up with your coefficient, no? So ano lang meaning nun, no? Kasi if we are going to compress this big number into this coefficient, no? That means we have to move the decimal place, no? Okay. So yun. When we move decimal places, there is a corresponding value for the exponent part, no? So if you move your decimal point, no? If you move your decimal point to the left, no? So let ko dito. Decimal point to the left, that corresponds to a positive integer or positive n, no? If you move your decimal point to the right naman, that corresponds to a negative n value, no? Each step you move your decimal point, isa yung katumbas nun, no? So for example, I'm going to write this number. Siyempre yung decimal point niya nasa dulo yan, di ba? So if I'm going to write this number into a scientific notation, no? So there should be a way, no, na makagawa ako ng coefficient that is just between this number and this number, no? So, syempre, hindi dito, no? Ay, saan ba yun? Ayan. Laser. So, yan. So, syempre, itong decimal point, pag nandyan yan, hindi yan pasok dito sa criteria for coefficient. Because this number, itong big number na yan, that is way beyond 9.999, no? That's way beyond 10. So that means I have to move my decimal point, no, to the left or to the right, no, just in order for me to get a coefficient that is within this range, no. So kunwari, i-move ko yung decimal point ko dito, pwede na ba yan? Hindi pa rin, no, kasi this is still greater than 10, no. So I have to move my decimal point na naman, no. So pag nilagay ko yung decimal point dyan, hindi pa rin pwede kasi this part of the number is way beyond 10, no? So, urong ko pa dyan, hindi pa rin pwede. Urong ko pa dyan, hindi pa rin pwede. Urong, hindi pa rin pwede. Dyan, hindi rin. Dito, hindi rin, no? Tapos, isa-isahin ko na, no? Pag nilagay ko yung decimal point dito, I have 60.22, which is still beyond 10. Urong ko pa na isang point, no? Urong ko pa na isang step to the left, no? I have 6.022. Yun yung pasok dito sa coefficient. So I end here. Then I will count how many steps, no, yung ginawa ko in order to come up with 6.022, no. So how do we count that? So we start from the beginning to the end, no, to the end location of your decimal point. Then we begin counting how many steps, you know, para makapunta yung decimal point from here to here, no. So let's count, no. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Ba't parang sumobra ito ng 0? 23. Ay, hindi, tama lang pala. Okay, so 23 steps na. So I move 23 steps, no, from this point up to this point. So I am able to come up with this coefficient, no? So since I move 23 decimal places to the left, no, that means my exponent would be positive 23. Positive meaning you move your decimal point to the left. How many times? 23. So yeah, so that's why we have 6.022 times 10 raised to 23. Paano na yung ibang zeros, no? Yung ibang zeros, you can drop them, no? Huwag nyo na siya isulat kasi sayang yung ball pen, no? Sayang yung ink. So that's how you write the scientific notation, no? Okay, so similarly, for example, we have this number for the mass of your single carbon atom. So we want to write a number for the coefficient that is in between 1 to 9.999, no? If the decimal point is here, hindi pwede because this is less than 1. So less than 1 yan, so move ko dito, hindi rin pwede. Move ko dyan, hindi rin pwede kasi that's still less than 1. Move ko dito, hindi pwede kasi may 0.199 yan, di ba? Pero i-move ko pa ng isang place to the left, no? I'm able to come up with a number with a coefficient that is 1.99, no? So I will end here, no? So mag-end ako dito. Then I will count how many steps, no, ang dinaanan ko just in order to come up with a coefficient that is 1.99, no? So I will start from the initial location of my decimal point, which is this one. Then I will count how many steps to the right, no, for me to come up with a coefficient to 1.99. Kailangan yung post ako. Labas kami ng... Ayun. Diba? Nagkaklase din yung pusa eh. Okay, so let's count how many steps, no, ang dinaanan natin to the right in order to come up with the number 1.99, no? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23. So 23 steps, no? So since I moved 23 steps to the right, no, meaning negative to the right yung location mo. Okay, so that's why we have 23 negative there, no? So we move rightwards, no, 23 steps to the right, so that is negative 23 for the exponent, no? So yeah, so that's how you write scientific notation, no? Okay, so let's have some more practice, no? So we have 568.762. So we move the decimal point to the left, no? Because 568, no? This is greater than 10, diba? Greater than 9.999. So that means I have to move my decimal point, no, in such way na pasok yung coefficient natin between 1 to 10, no, or between 1 to 9.99, no. So I will move my decimal place to the left, no. Pag isang beses, I will have 56 as my coefficient, which is still greater than 9, no? So still greater than 9, still greater than 10. So that means we have to move it again, no? So move ko pa uli. Ayun. So I am able to come up with a coefficient that is 5.68762. Okay. So how many steps ang movement ng decimal point to the left? 2 steps, diba? So since 2 steps yon to the left, that's times 10 raised to positive 2. Sometimes we drop the positive, no, as 2 na lang. Kasi it is understood, no, na kapag wala negative sign, edi positive yung number mo, no. Ayun, no. So yun yung sagot, no. Okay, so let's have another example, no. So another example is this one, 0.000000772, no? So again, no, if we're going to write this into a scientific notation, all we have to do is to move the decimal point again for us to come up with a number with a coefficient that is within the range 1 to 9.999, no? So within doon, no? So if the decimal point is here, then 0.0 something, so it's still less than 1, di ba? So move pa tayo, isa. Move pa tayo isa. So if we end our decimal point there, hindi pa rin pwede, no? We move again, hindi pa rin pwede. Until we end up with this point, no? if we end up, if we place our decimal point here, we will have 7.72 as your coefficient, no? So we're done with that because that is within the range of 1 to 10, okay? Then we multiply it to 10 raised to the number of steps you move your decimal point, di ba? So ilang steps pa? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no? So I moved my decimal point 6 places to the right. To the right, that means negative. And 6, no? Kasi 6 na spaces, no? So yun, no? Yan. Okay, so nasundan naman po ba? Alam ko, alam nyo naman to, no? Pero maganda na yung alam uli natin, no? So anyway, nasundan naman po ba? Carl and Mariel?
Opo.
Yes, sir.
Sige, so very nice, no? Titingin ako ng worksheet, no? Baka may pwede tayong sagutan among us. Ay, ba't ako music? One, no? Alam ko meron dito sa ating worksheet. Practice tayo, no? Ay, wala dito. Wala bang maraming zero dyan? Wala nga. Sige, so anyway. Practice pa tayo, no? Ano pwede? Okay, so kunwari, we have this number 0.000000631. So I'm going to write this into a scientific notation. So if I write it as is, no, so that means wala akong ginalaw, hindi siya pwede because that number is less than the required number for the coefficient, no? So it is less than 1, 0.0 something. So urong ko yung decimal point to the right. Hindi pa rin pwede if I end my decimal point there because that is 0.000631, no? So I move it again, another step, isa pa, and lastly, I will end up here, no? So I have 6.31 na, no? So that's okay, no? So stop na ako dyan. Then, I'll copy the times 10 raised to the exponent, no? So how many decimal point nag-move and 2 fraction siya nag-move, no? So I move my decimal point to the left, to the right. So negative yon. And how many steps? Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima, anim. So I move my decimal point 6 steps to the right. So that corresponds to a negative 6 exponent, no? So ganun, no? So kunwari ito naman, no? Ayan, bahala kayo dyan. So ang daming zeros. Hindi ko na binilang kung ilan zero. So usually nasa dulo yung decimal point if not indicated, ha? So okay. So if I'm going to write this number, this huge number, into scientific notation, no? So I have to move my decimal point to the left this time, no? Papunta sa left. Because if hindi ko yung ginalaw, this number is way beyond greater than, way beyond 10. So masyadong malaki compared to 10. So I have to move my decimal point up to, saan kaya? Dito? Ay, dito ba? Hindi, no? Dito, hindi rin. Dito, hindi. 73 yan. Dito, yun, no? So I have to move my decimal point here. Question is, how many steps? Bilangin natin. Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima, anim, pito, walo, siyam, sampu, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I moved my decimal point to the left 19 times, diba? So I will write the final answer as 7.342 times 10 raised to positive 19 na. So that's how we write scientific notation. So, madali lang. Pero, yun, no? Just like any numbers, we can do operations involving scientific notation. If we can add numbers with decimal points, the same should be true for the numbers expressed in scientific notation. No? So, pwede naman pala isulat natin sila. No? Pwede natin sila ipag-add, ipag-subtract, i-multiply, i-divide. No? Okay? So, paano yung rules? No? So, tignan natin ang slide. No? So, to add numbers in scientific notation or to subtract numbers in scientific notation, there are just some few rules that we have to keep in mind. No? Okay, so number one, we have to write our scientific notations in such a way that they will have the same exponent. No? So itong exponent na ito at itong exponent na to should be the same if you're going to add them. No? Question, paano nyo gagawing same yung exponent? No? Edi you just move the decimal point. No? Question again, sinong scientific notation yung babaguhin ko? Sinong scientific notation yung gagayahin ko? Kayo bahala, no? Your choice naman, no? Mamaya pakita natin yung mga ganung bagay. No? So, yan. So, the first step is to ensure that you have the same exponent. Otherwise, you have to remodify your numbers. No? You have to move the decimal place of one addends or one subtract. Ano yung tawag? Addends kapag addition. Pag subtraction, subtrahend ba? Ewan ko. Grade 2 pa ako nun. No? So anyway, so yun. So kailangan the same yung exponent. Which of the two? Kayo bahala. Choice na yan. Then after na parehas na yung kanilang exponents, you can combine the coefficient part, no? So you can combine the coefficient part, no? You can add them, you can subtract them, just as normal numbers, no? Then yun, you just copy your exponent, no? Kasi parehas na sila, you're just going to retain that exponent, no? Okay, so alam ko may mga good examples ako dito eh. Gamitin natin yung mga ginamit ko sa mga bata. Word, Chem, saan yun? Dito yun eh. Sulatan natin ito. Ayun. No? Sige. So again, pwede kayo mag-screenshot, no? So ito yung cheat work ko sa mga bata, no? Cheat work, no? Number 1, no? Sabi kanina, no? You have to ensure that you have the same exponents, no? So tingnan natin to. 10 raised to 3 and 10 raised to 3 yung kabila. So wala tayong problema doon, no? So ay, ala. Ano nangyari? Wait lang. Import ko na nga lang siya dito. Wait lang ha. So yun. Hindi ko pa ito na-import eh. Add natin. New page. Insert PDF. Then, hanapin natin. Okay, so we're done. Okay, so let's answer that now. Okay, so sabi natin, kailangan same exponents, no? So, the two numbers contain the same exponent. So, wala na tayong gagawin dyan. So, copyhin na lang natin yun, no? Tapos, ano mangyayari dito sa coefficient parts? Sabi kanina, you just add them or you just subtract them as is, no? So, the 7.4 plus 2.1, no? So, pag pinag-add natin yan, that will be the resulting coefficient na. Okay, so that's 7.4 plus 2.1. So, that's 9.5 times 10 raised to 3, no? Take note, I just copied the exponent since they are just the same naman. So, ganun. Madali lang, di ba? Question dun is paano kapag hindi na sila parehas, no? For example, we have the second number, 4.31 times 10 raised to 4 plus 3.9 times 10 raised to negative 3, no? Okay, so I have two options, no? I can retain the exponent 4 or I can retain the exponent 3. Okay lang ba yun? Okay lang, no? So, pakita natin yung two ways, no? Okay. So, for the first part, A, i-retain ko yung exponent na 4. Okay, so I will retain exponent number 4. 10 raised to 4, no? Ay, tsaka lang. Okay, so, kailangan i-adjust ko ito bale, no? So, I will adjust that number, yung 3.9 times 10 raised to negative 3, in such way na maging times 10 raised to 4 siya. Kasi yun yung gusto ko, no? Okay, so if I want to make this number, no, yung exponent niya magiging raised to 4, I have to move my decimal point to which direction? Left or right? O, sagot kayo. Saan ko kailangan i-move yung decimal point para yung 3 maging 4? To the left, to the right, any idea?
Right.
Right,
To the
because
left.
pag right, no? Remember, pag right, positive yung value for the exponent, no? So every step you take to the right, that's positive 1, no? Positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. So you're adding exponent, no? Pag to the left naman, pag ganun, no? To the left, every step you do, may corresponding negative 1 siyang effect dito sa exponent. So I am going to move the decimal point to the right. Move ko siya doon. So I can make my exponent 10 raised to 4 na. So yun. So that means I can rewrite this part. Highlight natin. So I can rewrite that as, copy ko muna. 0.39 times 10, ay, pangit na sulat. Times 10 raised to 4. Okay. So ganun yung ginawa. So if you're going to make the numbers the same, the numbers to have the same exponent, all you have to do is to just move the decimal point, no? Okay, so yan lang, no? Every move to the left, positive 1 sa exponent. Every move to the right, negative 1 for the exponent, no? Okay, so now, since the exponents are the same, I'm just going to copy that. And I will add the coefficient part now. So that's 4.31 plus 0.39. So, isipin natin, 4.7, di ba? 4.7 times 10 raised to 4. So that is the final answer, no? Okay, so let's do it the other way around naman, no? So, for 2b, what I'm going to do is I will make the exponent, no, times 10 raised to 3. What if ito naman yung gusto ko, no? So that means, okay, kumuha ko na yung number. 4.31. Okay, so if I am going to retain this exponent, no, that means kailangan ko to galawin. Okay, so I have to move the decimal point of 4.3 times 10 raised to 4 in such way that I can bring down the exponent to 3. So kailangan ko i-move yung exponent na yan, no, para maging 3. Paano kaya? Any ideas? How can I bring down this exponent to 3?
Sir, move the decimal point to the right po.
Right?
Para
To the right,
maging...
every step is negative 1, di ba? Yung katumbas. So, yun, so tama
Sorry,
yun.
to the left. Opo, sir.
To the right, tama naman. Yan. Kasi pag left, positive dito.
Kanina, sorry po, kanina po
Baliktad,
kasi
sir.
na confused po ako.
Okay lang. So, basta ano tayo. So, yung mga, clear natin yung mga idea. So, pag to the left kasi, positive 1 yan. But if to the right, negative 1 yung katumbas niya, no? So, I will move the decimal point to the right. That means I will subtract 1 sa exponent. So I can rewrite the number as 43.1 times 10 raised to 3 plus 3.9 times 10 raised to 3. So, ito siguro mapaisip kayo, no? So, ibig sabihin ba nyo magkaiba yung sagot niyan? Tignan natin, no? So, we're not done pa naman, no? So, the answer, still the same pa rin naman yung answer, no? Kung may pakita natin. Okay. So, now, I am able to write the exponents, no? So, parehas na silang times 10 raised to negative 3. Ay, wala, nabubura sila. Okay, so parehas na silang times 10 raised to 3. So, I'm just going to copy that. And then, for the coefficient part, no, I will add them for accordingly. No? So, 3.9. So, what's 43.1 plus 3.9? That's 47 times 10 raised to 3. Question, is that the final answer?
Hindi pa po.
Hindi
No,
pa
sir.
kasi yung coefficient ay
Greater
Higher
than.
than 10 po.
ayun, so higher than 10. So yun, magkakaparehas pa rin naman sila ng sagot, no? Regardless of which step kung alin sa dalawa yung gusto mo i-retain, no? You should still come up with the same answer. So we can write that as 4.7 times 10 raised to 4 since we moved the decimal point to the left. Plus 1 yun sa exponent. And so I hope I made myself clear, no? So, ayan, so okay naman ba tayo dyan?
Yes, sir.
Sige, so I want you to answer numbers 3 to 5 naman. No? So yan, so para ma-check natin yung comprehension. So sige, answer 3 to 5 muna. So I will give you around 3 minutes na to answer that. No? So, sige. Okay, so siguro okay na, no? So, ay, namatay pala yung iPad. Sige. So, what's your answer for number 3? Pwede nyo i-comment sa chat box natin para magkalaman naman siya. Comment nyo na lang yung answer nyo sa chat box. Number 3, guys. Ay, Ming. Ayan, oh. Magkaklase sila. I-answer na kayo, guys. Hello po.
Finalizing.
Nagsisolve pa kayo. Sige, solve muna kayo. Comment nyo na lang sa box, no? Yung answer for 3, 4, 5, no? Not be shy, no? Tayo-tayo lang naman, eh. Sige, check natin yung answers na. Okay, for number 3, ano kaya pwede natin gawin dyan, no? So, this is subtraction. So, kunwari gusto kong exponent na ma-retain is times 10 raised to negative 2. Okay, so kunwari gusto ko times 10 raised to negative 2 yung matira. So, I just copy the first number minus. I will move the decimal point to the right for the second number because moving the decimal point to the right will increase the exponent by 1. No? So, yung negative 3 magiging negative 2 na lang. No? Okay, so yun yung mangyayari. Okay, so I will write this number as 0.410 times 10 raised to negative 2 na. No? Okay, so since we have the same exponent times 10 raised to negative 2, I'm just going to subtract the two coefficients. So that's 2.2 minus 0.410, and my final answer would be, kakalkyo ko, 2. Ming, maya ka na. 2.2 minus 0.41. 1.79 times 10 raised to negative 2. No? So, ganyan yung solution for number 3. No? Take note na, negative kasi exponent natin this time. So, if you want to increase the exponent, no, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, you move it to the left. No? Pag to the right kasi, you are subtracting negative numbers sa exponent. So, mas lalo lang magiging negative yung exponent. No? So, ganun, no? So, for negative 3, this is the answer, no? Take note, yung how to deal with negative exponents, no? So, save nyo na lang yun. Okay, for number 4, ayan, 4.9 times 10 raised to 5, 1.8 times 10. Okay, so I want to retain 10 raised to 5. Anyway naman, kahit ano i-retain ko, I will still end up with the same answer. So I will retain times 10 raised to 5. So that means for this exponent part to be raised to 5, anong gagawin ko? I will move the decimal point to the right side. No? So, moving it to, left pala. Nalito na. So, I move it to the left. No? So, the exponent will be 5 na. No? It will be increased by 1. No? So, I'll have 0.58 times 10 raised to 5. So, yun, I have the same exponents na. So, I'm just going to copy that. 10 raised to 5. Then, copy ko yung coefficients. Then, I will have my answer. 4.32 times 10 raised to 5. Yun. So, tumama na. Okay. Okay, so, let's do number 5 naman. No? So, for number 5, I want to retain times 10 raised to 6. No? Kahit ano naman i-retain ko, I will end up with the same answer. Okay, so I will retain times 10 raised to 6. So I'm just going to copy the second number. Teka lang, copyin natin. So, for this number, no, para yung 4 maging 6, I have to move my decimal point to the left, no? How many times? 2 times, no? So, I need to move the decimal point 2 times to the left so I can add 2 to my exponent. No? So, this is plus 1, plus 2. No? So, yun. Yung plus 2 yan pag nandun siya. Okay, so I can rewrite the first addend, no? 0.045 times 10 raised to 6 na. Okay, so I have the same exponents already. All I have to do is to add 0.045 plus 1.75 now. So adding them will give me 0.045, 1.75, 1.795 times 10 raised to 6. So that is the final answer. Ayun, so tama kayong dalawa sa number 5. Okay? So, ano lang, that's, be careful with negative exponents, no? Ayun, so, example, this one na, ingat tayo dyan. Yan, but, ayun, practice lang na. So, you can re-answer our activities today, no, after the class. Wala namang pasok sa Monday, so you have plenty of time, I believe, no? So, yan. And so, you have any questions about this po? Okay naman. Nakasunod naman po ba tayo?
Opo, nakasunod na sir.
Okay, so good. Si Mariel.
Yes po.
So, yan. So, thank you for your participation. No? So, that's for addition and subtraction of scientific notation. No? Siguro bigyan ko rin kayo ng copy netong handouts ko. Ito lang din kasi yung dinidiscuss natin eh. Ito yung ginamit ko kasi sa mga bata ko. No? So, I made this 2 years ago nung masaya pa ang buhay ko. Pero hindi na ngayon. So anyway, let's proceed with the multiplication and division. So, okay, so for multiplication, show na natin lahat. No? Okay, so for multiplication and division, no? So if addition and subtraction, we do not care about the exponent. And I mean, we care about the exponents, no? Kasi kailangan same sila. For addition, subtraction, kailangan same exponents. Pero sa multiplication and division, kahit hindi na, no? Wala tayong pake with the exponents because we're going to do operations separately for the exponents. No? So, ano yung mga gagawin, no? So, for multiplication daw, you multiply your coefficients as is, no? Multiply mo siya as is. Then, you add the exponents, no? Wala tayong pake about the exponent, basta i-add mo sila. Okay tayo dyan, no? For example, we have 4.0 times 10 raised to negative 5 times 7.0 times 10 raised to 3. No? As you can see, we can multiply our coefficient part. So, andito yan, 4 times 7, which is equal to 28. Then, we add the exponent, negative 3, negative 3, negative 5 and positive 3. No? So, you just add negative 5 and plus 3. No? So, yan. So, negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Ayan. So, yan. So, napapansin nyo, no? We have two separate operations. No? First operation will involve the coefficients. The second one will involve the exponents. No? So, again, for multiplication, multiply the coefficients, add the exponents. Okay. So, this is not yet the final answer. Hindi ito yung final answer because this is 28 and this is greater than 10. So, we move the decimal point again, one step to the left, increasing the exponent by 1. So, we have 2.8 times 10 raised to negative 1 now. How about division? So, for division naman, instead of multiplying the coefficients, i-divide mo sila. No? So, we divide the coefficients and instead of adding your exponents, we subtract them. No? Para lang siyang rules of the exponents sa math, di ba? If we have 10 raised to a over 10 raised to b, we can rewrite that as 10a minus b, di ba? Sa algebra. Ganun lang din dito, no? Okay, so, paano yun, no? So, we divide first the coefficient part, 8.5 divided by 5, which is 1.7 daw. And we subtract the exponents. This is positive 4 minus 9. So, yun, positive 4 minus 9, negative 5, no? And so, that's the final answer because the coefficient is already within the range, no, for the, within the range na siya, no? Doon sa requirement natin, no? So, ganun lang, no? So, practice tayo, syempre. Practice. Ayan. Okay, so let's have number 1. So, for number 1, itong website na to, wala na yun. Google Drive lang yan eh. So, anyway, let's start with number 1, 7.4 times 10 raised to 3 plus times 2.1 times 10 raised to 3. So, this is multiplication. Again, we multiply the coefficients, no? So, that's 7.4 times 2.1 times 10 raised to, ano gagawin sa exponents? We add them, no? So, 3 plus 3. So, yan, no? Kunin natin 7.4 times 2.1 15.54 daw times 10 raised to 3 plus 3 is square root of 36, no? Which is 6, no? So, yan. So, this is not yet the final answer because this is 15. It is beyond 10, so I have to move my decimal point again to the left. So, I will have my exponent increased by 1 as a result, no? So, that's 1.554 times 10 raised to 7, no? Ay, madali lang, di ba? Mas madali siya. Okay? Mas madali siya kaysa addition and subtraction kasi sa addition and subtraction, you have to prepare your number, di ba? This time, hindi. You just add them or subtract, di ba? Saya-saya. Sige, let's do number 2. So, for number 2, we have 4.31 times 10 raised to 4 divided by 3.9. Again, we divide the coefficients, no? So, that's 4.31 divided by 3.9 times 10 raised to, again, what do we do with the exponents? We subtract them, no? So, this is 4 minus 3. So, divide ko. Ay, may cosine. Ayun. Ay, ang daming numbers. Kunin ko na lang yung 2 decimal place. 1.11 times 10 raised to 4 minus 3, 1. No? So, that's my final answer. No? If I want to express that in scientific notation. No? So, ganun lang. So, again, multiplication, multiply your coefficients, add your exponents. No? For division, divide your coefficients and subtract the exponents. Alright, so you have any questions? Okay naman tayo dun sa rules?
Yes po, sir.
Sige. So, with that, no, magsasagot uli kayo ng 3 items. No? So, answer the 3 items. I'll go back to you no? After, let's say, 5 minutes. No? Sige, I'll give you time. Okay, so sige, comment nyo na lang yung answers nyo. Ayun na pala yung answer nyo. Sige. So, sige. So, let's start with 3. Again, multiplication, add the exponents. So, multiply this. Ayun na, so nagbabalik tayo. Nagluloko na naman yung converge. Ilang araw na sila. So anyway, so that's 2.22 times 10 raised to 4 times 4.10, which is 9.102 times 10 raised to negative 2, negative 3, negative 5. So tama kayong dalawa. So very nice. For division, 4.9 divided by 5.8 times 10 raised to 5 minus 4. So it's 4.9 divided by 5.8. 2 decimal places. 0.84 times 10 raised to 1. Or I move the decimal point now to the right. That decreases the exponent by 1. So I'll have 8.4 times 10 raised to 0. Ayun, no. Minove nyo yung decimal point to the... Ayan, ganun. So, ganyan yung solution for number 4. Ha? So, yun.
Counted ba yun, sir? Yung 0 as exponent?
Yes. Any number naman yung exponent. Basta integer, whole number, meaning pwedeng positive 1, positive 2, pwedeng 0, negative numbers. No? So, yun. Note nyo na lang. No? Sige. Okay, so for number 5, ayun, so ano gagawin? Ano ba yung Mingming? Dito ka. Ayan. For number 5, that's multiplication. So that's 4.5 times 1.75 times 10 raised to 4 plus 6 times 10 raised to 10 yan. 7.875. No? Okay. So those are the final answers. No? So you may get a screenshot, no? Or watch nyo na lang ulit, no? Bago kayo matulog, no? So that's our answers, no, for this part, no? So I hope, no, na nasundan naman. Okay naman ba tayo dyan?
Yes
Okay
po,
naman.
sir.
Okay, so if you want to clarify something, you just let me know, ha? You can use our mic or message it sa chat box, no? So yan. So I believe we're done with scientific notations. Ibig sabihin, malapit na tayo matapos. Thank you, Lord. Significant figures. Actually, ito na yung last, no? Okay. Second to the last, no? Okay. So, when they say significant figures naman, no? Kasi when we're doing measurements, di ba? Kunwari, ito. Nagdi-divide tayo. Di ba, ang dami-daming numbers minsan. Ang question nun kasi is that, are all those numbers significant? Meaning ba nun is, nagme-make sense ba yung mga numbers na yan? And to be honest, no, not all numbers matter naman in our calculations, no. Lalo, nag-work kayo, safe side kayo, di ba? Mag-research din kayo, no. So, ayun, sa research kasi, yun, no, not all numbers are reported, no. So, may pina-follow tayong convention on how to report certain numbers, no, given your equation or given your initial numbers, no. So, yun, hindi lahat ng numbers na lumalabas sa calculator nyo, i-report ninyo, no. Okay, so, ganun yung idea. Okay, so, ano meaning no? So, dapat may convention tayo. regarding significant figures na. Sino yung mga numbers na kailangan i-report? Sino yung mga pwede na hindi i-report na? Sige, so let's proceed. So, significant figures, not all numbers are significant, no? Okay, and the following are the rules that you have to remember. So, for you to be able to do operations involving significant figures, no? Sige, so we have 5 basic rules. Number 1, any digit that is not 0 is significant, no? So, that's 1 to 9. So, pag 0, may ibang case doon, no? For example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 as a number. So it contains 4 significant figures because all those non-zero digits are significant, diba? Kunwari, I have 5, 9, 3, 4, 2. This contains 5 significant figures, no? So you just count ilan yung hindi zero. So ito hindi zero, isa. Hindi rin to zero, dalawa. Ito din, hindi rin. Ito, hindi rin. Ito, hindi rin. So 5 yung non-zero digits ko. Hence, I have 5 significant figures. No? So yun na. Straightforward naman yung first rule. Again, first rule, any digits that is not zero is considered significant. No? So yan. Next one. Zeros between non-zero digits are significant, no? For example, you have this number, no? So, yung 0, this is sandwiched between 2 non-zero digits, no? So, if ito significant, anything in between them should also be considered significant, no? So, yeah. So, that's why we have 3 significant figures for the number 606. No, I said the 0 in between them is considered significant. No, kunwari 4,004. So as you can see, I have 2 zeros that is in between my 2 non-zero digits. No? So nasa gitna itong dalawang zero ng non-zero. So I count them as significant as well. So I have 4 significant figures for that number. No? Okay, so that's the idea. Next rule. Zeros to the left of the first non-zero digit are not significant. No? Their purpose is just to indicate the decimal place. No? May tawag dito para ma-shortcut natin. We call the zeros on the left of the first non-zero digit the leading zeros. No? Okay. So, meaning ng leading zeros, sila yung zero sa unahan ng first non-zero digit. No? For example, we have this number. Ito yung first non-zero digit. No? And yung nasa unahan niya ay itong dalawang zero. Okay. We call these two zeros the leading zeros. No? Okay, so they are not considered significant, no? Their only purpose is just to indicate where the decimal point is, no? So, it still serves a purpose, pero hindi siya importante, no? Okay, so yan. So, yan. Tinatawag niya lang kung nasan yung decimal point. O, yan dito daw yung decimal point. Pero hindi pa rin siya significant, no? So, yan. So, we do not count these zeros. We do not count leading zeros as significant figures. No? For example, we also have 0.000904. Okay, so tignan natin. 0.00000904. So all these zeros, ito yung first non-zero, di ba? Ito yung first non-zero, these are the leading zeros. No? Again, they are not significant, okay? So yun. How about the zero in between? They are considered, this zero is considered significant because of rule number 2. No? Itong zero na to, significant yan, pero itong mga nandito sa gilid, hindi. No? Itong nasa left, hindi. So, how many significant figures do we have here for this number? That's 3 sig fig. So, ganun. Okay, so punta naman tayo sa next rule. May 0 naman kasi sa right side, no? If we have leading zeros, we also have trailing zeros, no? Trailing, nasa dulo, no? Sumusunod, no? So for example, this is the last non-zero digit, no? This is the 0 at the end part, no? So, trailing 0 to, no? So, ganun. Trailing 0 kapag nasa right side of the last non-zero digit. Okay? So, yan. So, that is considered significant as well. Pero may emphasis tayo dito. Only if there is a decimal point, no? Pag walang decimal point, ano meaning nun? No? So, mamaya pakita natin. So, basta yun ha. The idea is that trailing zeros are significant provided that there is a decimal point in your number. Pag wala, ibang rule na yun. No? Okay. So, before we proceed with the last rule, let's check this. No? 0.004040. Okay. So, I want you to tell me if the 0 that I will be pointing at is significant or not, no? So, you can use your mic para interactive tayo. Let me know if siya ay significant or hindi, no? Sige, eto.
Hindi po.
Hindi. Kasi siya ay leading
Leading 0.
0. Eto.
Hindi rin po.
Eto.
Hindi rin po.
Eto.
Opo.
Significant kasi sabi sa rule 1. Basta non-zero, significant. Okay. What is 1?
Yes po. Significant
This
din.
is significant because
Rule number 2.
rule number 2, it is in between two non-zero digits, di ba? So, significant siya. This one is significant. Ito.
Hindi na po.
Ito.
Sa dalawa.
Hindi
na po yung dalawa sa dulo.
Hindi na.
Opo.
Check mo yung rule number 4. Sabi sa rule number 4, they are significant only if there is a decimal point. Rule number ayun. Nawala na naman ako. Okay, so itong dalawang zeros na to, ito yung rule number 4 natin. No? So, significant itong dalawa because we have a decimal point at the front. No? So, yun lang. No? Okay, so ganun yung idea ha. So, these two zeros are significant because of that decimal point sa harap. No? So, the question is, how many significant figures do we have in this number?
5.
5, no? So, we have 5 sig fig, no? Ano yung mga sig fig? No, wala ako. Ano ba yung converge? Mahal ang bayad namin. So, anyway. So, this is significant, rule number 1. Significant to, rule number 2. Significant, rule number 1. Significant because of rule number 4. Significant also because of rule number 4. As long as may decimal point sa number, significant yan. No? So, it doesn't necessarily mean na yung decimal point andyan, no? So, hindi naman ganun. Kasi pag maraming decimal point, IP address na yun. No? So, yan. Iba yun.
Sir,
So, ito yung question. Sige.
Pag ilalagay mo sa scientific notation yan.
Yung ano?
Yung for...
Ito. Pagsusulat ko into scientific notation. So, yun. Ika lang yung decimal point punta dyan eh. So, yun. Gagawin lang natin. You move this decimal point to the right, no? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, ganon. 4.0400 times 10 raised to negative 3, no? So, yan. So, ganun pa rin siya, no? You retain
Count check
this.
yung dalawang zeros doon.
Mamaya may papakita pa ako mga cases, no?
Sige.
So, sige. Teka lang. Buksan ko ulit yung slide. Ang dami ng sulat eh. Okay. So, yan. Okay. So, paano naman, sir, kapag walang decimal point? Paano kapag walang tuldok? For example, this one. Okay. If you do not have any decimal point, ano meron? We have an ambiguous case, no? When we say ambiguous, depending on your interpretation, no? So, depende sa tao kung paano niya i-define yung 42,000, no? Okay. So, in order to address ambiguity, because walang decimal point, we have ways, no, to do that, no? We can write this in terms of scientific notation. And pwede natin yan ayusin by writing the number in scientific notation. Pwede rin natin yung lagyan ng decimal place na lang, no? Just put decimal place na. Just put a decimal point, no? So, yun. Yun yung dalawang resolution for that last case, no? Sige, punta tayo sa isang clear na slide, no? Dito. So, yun nga, kunwari, I have 42,000. Ay, ano ba yun? 42,000. Sabi natin, this is an ambiguous case because there is no decimal point. So, there's no way for us to tell that the trailing zeros are significant. Hindi natin sure kung significant sila. Kasi sabi sa rule number 4, trailing zeros are only significant kung may decimal point, no? Anywhere sa number, no? Pero wala eh. Ano gagawin natin, no? So, yun. So, we can interpret, no? Reinterpret the number, no? So, to resolve that, i-interpret natin siya into a new number, no? Pwede gawin natin siya in terms of scientific notation. Pwede rin naman by placing a decimal point na lang, no? So, yan. Gawin ko yung resolution that involves placing decimal point na lang, no? Ayan. So, nakita niyo may tuldok. So, that means all the zeros are significant na. Isang maliit na tuldok lang that changes the definitions for each zeros, no? Kung significant siya or not, no? So, yan. Since may tuldok dyan, that means the 3 zeros are significant na, no? So, I have 5 significant figures for that, no? Kasi may decimal point. Okay, so may decimal point kasi. So, we considered all those zeros as significant, no? Significant yung mga trailing zeros na yan. Ano pa, no? We can rewrite this, no, number, itong 42,000, into scientific notation, no? So, I can rewrite 42,000 as 4.2 times 10 raised to 4. Pwede ko rin siya i-rewrite as 4.20 times 10 raised to 4. Pwede ko rin siya isulat as 4.200 times 10 raised to 4. Pwede rin 4.200, 2,000 times 10 raised to 4. And so on and so forth, no? Okay, so ano yung pagkakaiba ng mga yan, no? Pare-parehas lang naman yan ng value pag pinindot mo sa calcu, 42,000. Okay, so 42,000 nga sila, no? Yes, 42,000 sila, but the significant figures changes, no? Ito pala, how do we count the significant figures for scientific notation? Just look at the coefficient, no? Tignan nyo lang yung coefficients, no? So for the coefficient for 1, we have 2 non-zeros. So, 2 significant figures yan, no? For number 2, yung trailing zero, we can consider that significant because of the presence of a decimal point. Hence, this is 3 sig fig, you know. Yung ikatlo, for significant figures, Kaapat, this is 5 significant figures. And yung ikalima, nth significant figures. Tuloy-tuloy yan. So, ano mapapansin natin, no? If walang decimal point, ang daming interpretation na pwede gawin sa number. So, yun. It's up to you. How are you going to resolve that, no? Pero yun nga, sabi natin, since iba-iba interpretation natin dyan, let's just call it an ambiguous case, no? So, yun na lang yung final answer for such cases, no? So, ano pa yung kailangan natin maalala? Kailangan natin sa buhay na yun. In cases of ambiguity, we can resolve that by just placing a decimal point or to write them in scientific notations. So, yun. Summarize natin before we proceed with some activities na. Okay? So, in summary, rule number 1, any digit that is not zero is significant. So, significant lahat ng hindi zero. Pag may zero sa gitna ng dalawang hindi zero, significant din siya. Rule number 3, yung zero sa harap ng first ng zero, we call that the leading zeros, no? They are not significant regardless of the case. No? If you have a zero at the right side of your last significant figure, or the less than zero digit, no? So you consider them as well significant, provided that there is a decimal point. Kasi pag wala, that leads to rule number 5. If you do not have any decimal point, but you have a trailing zero, no? So yun, ambiguous case yun. And that can be resolved by either placing a decimal point na lang, or you write them into scientific notations. Okay? Practice tayo. So, any questions muna bago tayo mag-proceed sa practice? Questions, clarifications, let me know.
As for, wala pa naman, sir.
Si Mariel.
None so far, sir.
Sige. So, ito, mabilisan na. How many sig figure there in the following? Yan.
2.
2. Okay. Yan.
4.
4.
4.
4. Ha? Ano, Mariel?
3 po.
3. So, 3 yung sagot. Bakit, no? The 2 zeros are leading zeros. Hindi sila counted. Tingin lang tayo dito sa right side. Significant. Significant. This is significant. Itong trailing zero, significant yan because there is a decimal place. There is a decimal points number. So, 3 sig fig siya. Okay? So, that's rule number 3 and 4, no? Sige. Ayan.
2.
2. Ano yung tinitignan again? Pag scientific notation? Coefficient part. Ayan.
3.
3.
3. Sagot ay ambiguous. Kasi walang decimal point eh. Di ba 0 to? Nasa right. Trading yan. Pero wala kasing tuldok. No? Pag walang tuldok, ambiguous. Ganun agad ha. So yun.
Okay pa.
Sir, yung
Kasi
sa rule number 2 po, only applicable lang kahit wala pong, medyo nako-confuse po kasi yung mga students like me na kunwari po, nasa middle tapos wala naman siyang, kunwari 3 digits lang po tapos ambiguous ba or pasok siya dun sa rule number 2. Rule number 2
for
po
example,
ba?
ito.
Opo. Rule number 2 po ay only applicable for basta 0 po yung gitna.
Si rule number 2, exclusive siya for zeros sandwiched between non-zero digits. No? For example, 301. And so, nasa gitna kasi siya ng dalawang non-zero. So, that means significant pa rin siya by rule number 2. No? Pero yung mga zero sa right or sa left niya, kunwari sila lang yung nasa gitna, no? Itong mga nasa left, ano yan, subject yan to rule number 3. And yung mga nasa right, subject yan sa rule number 4 and rule number 5, no? Okay, so ganun yung idea. Ay, nawala si Mariel. Ay, nagbabalik si Mariel.
Sorry po,
Sa ganun,
napindot ko yung hang.
so ganito yung idea, Mariel, no? Focus tayo dito sa gitna. So, yung zero between non-zeros, rule number 2 yan, no? Rule 2. Rule number 2 yan. Any zeros sa left side, no? Wala na ditong non-zero. Puro zero na lang yung mga nandito sa left side. Subject to rule number 3 yan, no? Which tells us that these zeros are not really significant, no? Yung mga nasa left, wala talaga yung significance, no? Pero yung mga nasa right, titingin tayo sa rule 4 and rule 5, no? Again, for rule 4, we consider these zeros are as significant. Now, significant sila as long as may decimal point sa buong number. So, this case, kung makikita natin, wala tayong decimal point. So, titingin naman tayo sa rule number 5 na, no? Sabi sa rule number 5, pag walang point pero may zeros ka on the right side, ambiguous na yun. You can reinterpret that using scientific notation or just placing a decimal point na. Ayun.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Pero sir, kapag naging 310 yan, ambiguous
Wala
na.
naging 310,
Apo.
ambiguous yan. No? Kasi itong zero na to, nasa right side siya ng last non-zero. Ito yung last non-zero eh. So, last non-zero siya. So, we call this zero na the trailing zeros. Nasa dulo na siya. So, ngayon, ano yung rule pag trailing zero? Rule 4 and rule 5 na. So, ganun. Since wala tayong decimal point dyan, edi ambiguous yan. So, kunwari, lagyan ko ng tuldok sa dulo. Considered yun as significant, no? Yung zero na yun sa dulo. Significant yan, basta may tuldok. Pag wala, ambiguous na.
Ano yan, sir? Counted lang as tuldok? Or kahit may zero may kasunod?
Ha?
Counted ba yan, sir, kahit tuldok lang? Kahit wala ng zero kasunod?
Oo. Counted yan, basta may tuldok lang. Basta may makita kang may tuldok sa dulo na zero na yun, significant yun. Pag walang tuldok, ambiguous yun. Anywhere naman yung tuldok. Pwedeng nasa dulong left, pwedeng nasa gitna, pwedeng nasa dulong right na. Pwede yan. So, meaning lang nun, isang tuldok lang, malaki yung pagbabago. No? Malaki yung change sa interpretation natin ng number. So, that's the idea. Ayun. Pero, ito for the sake of this class, no, itong mga sig fig natin, no, we will just use this in practice up to quiz 1, no, and sa midterm, no, kasi covered to ng midterm exam, no. That means for the rest of the chapter, kasi masyadong ang dami namang rules, di ba? So for formality lang, no, the reason why we're studying this is that, so we are aware, no, that we can represent our answers in terms of sig figs, no. Pero in practice, no, pag you do it in your daily life, no, medyo nakakaumay, no. Kaya for the following chapters, for the preceding chapters, no, ano na tayo, abandon na natin yung idea muna. Basta ang goal lang natin this chapter is Yun. We know these rules. Ito yung rules, ganito, ganyan. No? So, yun. Pero in the future, hindi na natin to bibigyan ng pake. No? Siguro sa exam na lang ulit. No? So, yun lang. Kasi, lalo na pag nag-stoichiometry tayo, no? Nag-gas loss tayo, ang daming numbers nun. So, baka malito-lito na tayo lalo. No? Mas lalo pa tayong magkamali. So, yun. So, yan. Any questions?
Wala na po, sir.
Sige.
Answer.
So, yan. Hanap pa tayo ng pwede pag-practicean. Ayan. Determine the number of significant figures in the following measurements. Letter A.
Ambiguous.
Walang zero eh. So, hindi gagana yung rules for ambiguity.
Dapat rule number 1 po ba, sir?
Opo. Pag
Three.
walang zero, rule number 1 lang siya. Yan.
Okay po.
Okay, so for letter A, lagay na rin natin rule. So rule number 1, 3 sig fig na for reference na. Letter B,
3 po. Rule number 1 and 4.
rule number
1.
actually rule number 2 na. Yan. Sige, sama na rin natin yung 1. Para makita natin yung mga examples, no. So rule number 1, significant to, significant to. Rule number 2, significant yung 0 sa gitna nila. Okay, so that's the idea. That's why we have 3 significant figures. Letter C.
3.
Siyempre, rule number 1,
2.
2. Okay, yung rule number 2,
Ay, wala po 2.
yung rule number 2, gagamitin siya kapag may 0 sa gitna ng dalawang non-zero. Kaso yung 0 natin, wala sa gitna ng mga non-zero eh. Nasa left side siya eh. So, anong rule kapag nasa left side? Rule number 3, no? Meaning, pag nasa left side daw, non-significant, no? So, counted lang yung mga nasa rule number 1. So, 3 sig fig ulit yan, no? Letter D.
Rule number 3, 2 sig figs.
Pati 1 din, no? Sama na natin. Rule 1 and 3. 1 pertains to non-zero digits. Rule number 3 pertains to the zeros on the left side of the non-zero digits. No? So, ilang sig fig? 2. Okay. So, letter E. Rule. Siyempre, rule 1 and
3.
3. Pag 3 sa left side eh. This time yung 0 natin nasa right side. So,
4.
rule number 4 yun. Okay. So, sulat natin. Rule 1, non-zero. Rule 2, 0 between non-zero. Rule number 3, ito yung leading zeros. Ito yung 0 sa left. Yung rule 4, trailing 0. Ito yung 0 sa right. Rule 5, ito yung mga pag walang decimal place. Pag walang decimal point. Ayan. Okay, so ilang sig fig for letter E?
4 po.
4. Okay. Bakit 4? We have 3 non-zero and itong 0 sa right side, since may tuldok, yun yung tuldok, significant siya, no? So, yan. So, counted siya. Letter F.
Ambiguous po.
Ayun, ambiguous siya. So, rule 5 lang yan. No? So, ambiguous. Hindi natin sure kasi walang tuldok eh. Asa kaya yung tuldok dito? Dito, 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 dito. Or scientific notation yan. Hindi natin sure. Okay, so ganun yung idea. Basta walang tuldok, tapos may zero, ambiguous agad, ha? Pero kapag walang tuldok, pero wala ring zero, rule 1. Okay? Example, letter G. Anong rule yan?
Rule number 1 po.
Rule number 1 lang. Kasi walang zero eh. Di ba? Okay, so ilan sig fig yan?
Dalawa po.
2 sig fig. Letter H.
Rule number 1 and 2 po.
1 and 2. Because we have non-zeros and
4 significant.
zeros between non-zeros. No? So, rule 1 and 2 yan. Ilang sig fig?
4 po.
4 significant figures. Counted to. Counted din to. So, remember, zeros between non-zeros are significant. No? So, yun lang. Keep in mind natin yung mga ganun. No? Letter I. Anong rule yan?
Rule 3 and 4 po.
Rule 3 and 4. No? Pati 1 na rin sama natin.
Opo.
1, 3, 4. So, according to rule 1, significant to. Significant yung 5 and 8. According to rule 3, itong mga zeros na to, these are not significant. According to rule number 4, pangit ng ito na lang. According to rule number 4, yung zero sa dulong right, that is significant because of the decimal point. No? Yun. May tuldok kasi, so significant siya. So, ilan significant figures?
3, sir.
3. So, yan. Very good. Na? So, letter J.
Rule number 1 po.
Rule number 1 lang. No? Kasi wala naman zero. No? So, ilan sig fig?
Dalawang significant po.
Okay. Then, lastly, letter K.
Ambiguous po.
Ambiguous.
Rule number 5.
5 lang. No? Ambiguous. Ayan na. Ayan, screenshot nyo yan for reference. No? Or you can rewatch the video. Ayan. Ganun lang. No? Okay, so siguro na screenshot nyo na, no? Let's proceed with the last part of our discussion. Operations involving significant figures. Okay, so if we can do operations with scientific notations, we should also be able to do operations involving significant figures. Medyo madali lang to, no? Kaya yun. Okay. So when we are adding or subtracting, no, we will represent our final answer, no, represent the final answer in terms of the least decimal place. So sabi lang nun, if we add and subtract the numbers, we check, no, which of those numbers contain the least number of decimal places, no? Then yun yung susundin natin, no? For example, we have this, no? 89.332 plus 1.1 equal 90.432. Okay. Tignan natin yung decimal places, no? Decimal places. So, for this one, ilang decimal places meron? Okay. Paano ba magbilang ng decimal place, no? Look at the decimal point and any numbers on the right side of it, no, is counted as one decimal place, no? Since we have 3 numbers on the right side of your decimal point, we count them as 3 decimal places. No? So for the second number, this is the decimal place and we only have one number on the right side. So ibig sabihin yan, one decimal place na. Okay, so ano sabi natin kanina? We write the final answer in terms of the least decimal place. No? So that means we will round our answer no, in 3 or 1 decimal places. Sino susundin dito? 3 or 1?
1 po.
1 po.
Yung 1. Kasi yung 1 yung least, di ba? So that means we will round this off no, to 90.4. Isang decimal place lang yung bibilangin. The rest is hindi napapansinin. No? Okay, so ganun. Di ba medyo mas madali na dito, no? Titignan mo lang mga decimal point. Ayan, 90.4 yung sagot na. Okay, so let's check this number naman, no? 3.7 minus 2.9134. Okay, so let's check. How many decimal places does this number contain?
2 po.
2 decimal places. This one contains
4.
4 decimal places. Alin susundin?
2, sir.
Susundin yung 2. So that means, ito yung answer, we cut by the second decimal place. No? But make sure, tingnan nyo pa rin yung numbers sa right side. 6 to eh. Ano yung rule? Pag ang number ay greater than 5,
Round off.
we round up, no? Kapag yung number sa right ay greater than 5, no? Kapag hindi greater than 5, edi retain lang, no? So that means we can rewrite our final answer as 0.79, no? So yun. So yun. Ayun, so 0.79 yung sagot, no? Practice tayo, no? Para makita natin. Ay, ang dami. And carry out the following arithmetic operations to the correct number of significant figures. Gawin natin yung A. So for A, how many decimal places do we have here?
1 and 4 po.
This is 1 decimal place. This is 4 decimal places. Sino yung susundin?
1.
Susundin si 1. Okay, so add ko muna 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.2 plus 0.1893. Add natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.3893. Sabi natin, we end at the first decimal place. So, putol natin dyan. But yun, you have to consider yung number na sa right side niya. This number at the right side is greater than 5. So, ano gagawin? We round this up, no? So, we will write our final answer as 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.4. So, that's the final answer. Try nyo yung letter B naman, no? So, kaya naman letter B. Sige, bigyan ko kayong time. Okay, so sagutan natin si letter B. No? So we have 2 decimal places here, 2 decimal places. Then we have 3 decimal places. So we follow the 2 decimal places lang, no? So let's subtract them. 5.67 minus 2.386. Calculate ko na lang para madali ang buhay. Minus 2.386. So that's 3.284. Okay. Tabi natin, we follow the 2 decimal places. So we end here. And the number on the right side naman is not 5 and above. So we just retain the number as 53.28. Ayan. Di ba, mas madali na. Mas chillax siya ngayon na. Tingin tayo sa last part, no? Okay. So, kung yung addition and subtraction, ang basis natin ay least decimal place, for multiplication and division, our basis is the least significant figures naman. So, yung magli-least significant figures naman tayo. Kanina, least decimal place. Ngayon, least significant figures. Okay. Let's have this, no? Alright, you multiply 4.531 and 3.6666, no? So, bilangin natin yung significant figures nito. Ilang significant figures to?
3 po.
3. Ito?
5 po.
5. Sino pinakamaliit? Yung 3. So, dapat, our final answer should be written in 3 significant figures only. So, we start counting on the leftmost side, no? So, this is 1, 2, 3. So, that means we end up here dapat, no? So, look at the number on the right side. That is 3. 3 yan. So, hindi mag-a-apply yung rounding up rule natin, no? So, hindi applicable yung round up. So, we just represent the final answer as 16.5, no? So, yan yung final answer. Pag division, ganun din naman. These significant figures. How many sig fig ito?
2 po.
2 sig fig. This one.
5.
Wala yung laser. Ayan.
5 po.
5 sig fig. Sino pinakamaliit? 2. So, we start counting, no?
2 po.
Yung 2 significant figures, no? Ito, question. Significant ba to?
Hindi po.
Hindi po. Diba sabi sa rule number 3, leading zeros are not significant. Ayun, bumasok na naman yung mga rules. No? So, this is not significant. This one is also not significant. This one,
Yes po.
ito yung significant, no? So, we start counting yung number of sig fig dito sa 6, no? So, yan. So, kunin natin yung dalawang decimal, no? Starting from, hindi decimal. Kunin natin yung dalawang digits starting sa 6, no? So, that's 6 and 0. Cut tayo dyan. Okay. So, kinuha yung 2 digits, no? Starting from 6, no? Ilang digit kinuha ko? 2. Kasi 2 sig fig daw. Look at the number on the right side. We have 6 here. And that is greater than 5. So, round up tayo. So, we round this up to 0.60. Ano ba yan? 0.061. No? So, this is the final answer. Wala. Basta yun, 0.061 yung final answer. Okay. Ayan, summarize na ng uli natin. Add and subtract, list, decimal, place. Pag multiplication and division, list, significant, figures na. Okay, so tingin tayo dito. So let's try letter C. Let's try letter C. Let's count first yung mga sig-fig, no? For letter C, ilang significant figures yan? Ito.
3 po.
3 po.
3 sig-fig. This one,
5.
5 sig-fig. So, sino susundin?
Yung 3 po.
Or 3. Siyempre yung 3. So, multiply natin yan, no? So, sulat ko muna yung buong number. 52062464. Okay, so yan yung buong number, sabi ng calculator ko. So, we represent the final answer in 3 significant figures. No? So, we start counting on the leftmost side. So, count tayo dyan. So, this is 1, 2, 3. Cut tayo dyan. So, look at the number on the right side. That is 6. So, anong gagawin? Round up, no? So, the final answer is 52.1. So, ganun yung mga batas-batas, no? When it comes to multiplication and division naman. Let's try letter D. Yung units, disregard nyo na lang. Di ko rin alam ba't ko nilagyan ng units yan. So, yan. Let's try letter D. How many sig-fig meron dyan? Ilang sig-fig to?
3 po, sir.
So, 3 sig-fig. Ito,
O din po.
3 din. So, that means tatlo rin dapat yung final answer. So, divide ko lang. Ayan, dami ng zero. Yung scientific notation na lang isusulat ko kasi yung sabi ng calculator. Just, ganun din naman mangyayari. Okay, so yan yung ating sagot, sabi ng calcu. So, kunin natin yung 3 significant figures. So, start tayo dito. 1, 2, 3. And tayo dyan. Look at the number on the right side. That's 9. So, we round it up to 5.14 times 10 raised to negative 4. Diba? Ganun lang, no? As long as you know how to identify ano yung mga significant figures, no? You can do operations with it na, no? So, easy na yung operations. No? So, with that, no? Siguro I will let you answer E to J, no? 6. Yung units, wag nyo na lang pansinin ulit, no? So, I want you to answer E, F, G, H, I, J. So, screenshot nyo na lang, no? Baka mamatay yung iPad. By the way, you have any questions, clarifications? Okay pa naman. Sige, feeling ko okay pa naman, no? So, sige. Balikan ko kayo after siguro ilang minutes. 10 minutes, no? Because I'll give you 10 minutes to answer EFG, HIJ. Screenshot nyo na. No? Sige. Okay, so siguro pwede na tayo mag-answer, no? So, for letter E, let's begin. No? Letter E. So, this is addition. Addition, no? So, decimal places yung titignan natin. So, for the first part, no, for letter E, we have 2 decimal places. For the second part, we have 2 decimal places pa rin, no? So, dapat the final answer is in 2 decimal places. Okay. So, ayan. So, keep in mind lang natin that we will write our answer in 2 decimal places, no? Okay. Sige, pero yung operations involving significant scientific notations, as is yun, no? So, sige. So, 2 decimal places lang yung dapat final answer natin, no? So, magsosolve na tayo ng significant scientific notation. So, sige. Magkaiba sila ng exponent. So, gagawin ko, itong 10 raised to 2, ito, choice ko yun. So, yung 10 raised to 2, gagawin kong 10 raised to 3 by moving the decimal point to the left, no? Increasing the exponent by 1. So, I will have 5.21 plus 0.292 times 10 raised to 3. No? So, ano yung sagot dyan? 5.21.292. So, the answer is 5.502 times 10 raised to 3. But again, sabi natin kanina, since this is addition, we're going to represent our answer in terms of the least decimal places. No? So, dalawa yon. So, we cut by here. And we write the final equation, or the final answer, rather, as 5.50 times 10 raised to 3. Nakuha nyo yung ganitong sagot naman?
Opo, sir.
Ayun, so very good na. So, yun.
Yes, sir.
Nakuha mo, Mariel?
Yes po, sir.
So, very good na. Sige. So, let's proceed letter H. Decimal places to kasi addition na naman. So, this is 4 decimal places, 2 decimal places. So, yan. So, we follow the 2 decimal places. No? 2615862 plus 117. So, the sum is 26.7562. But we end sa 2 decimal places. So, we'll write the final answer as 26.76. No? So, yan. Madali pa lang naman. Na. Sige. So, let's start with letter G. 1 decimal place. 3 decimal place. So, 1 decimal place yung susundan. No? The difference is 4.418. We'll end by here. So, 1 decimal place lang. So, we write the final answer as 4.4. No? So, siguro screenshot nyo na tong mga answer na yan. No? So, you have your copy na no, for reference. Sige. May bagyo pala, no? Share ko lang. Kaya makulimlim dito. Sige. So anyway, let's move on with the last 3. Ay, malapit na tayo matapos. So pag maaga tayo natapos, pwede na tayo mamahinga. Okay. So letter H, no? So for letter H, we have 7.1 times 10 raised to 4 times 2.2654 times 10 raised to 2. Okay, so again, no? Multiplication to. We are looking for the significant figures rather than the decimal places. No? So we have 2 sig fig here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig fig here. Okay, so we follow the 2 significant figures. No? So anyway, I will write the solution na. No? So I will multiply the coefficients. and I will add the exponents. So I will have an answer of, sana umulan para malamig. Ang init eh. Wala. Uulan na. Dadabog na yung pinto sa baba. Okay, so I have 16.08434 times 10 raised to 6. But again, I will represent my final answer into significant figures. We start counting on the leftmost number. 1, 2. So tapos na dyan. End natin dyan. So the final, may nakalimutan akong step. Kalimutan ko. Hindi pa pala ito yung final answer. We move the decimal point muna to the left, no? 16 nga pala yan. So we add 1 sa exponent. So we'll add 1.60844 times 10 raised to 7. No? And again, two significant figures, we end up by that, no? And that's 1.6, no? The number at the right of 6 is 0, so we'll just drop off the rest, no? So the final answer is 1.6 times 10 raised to 7. Okay, so yun lang. Letter I, significant figures again. So we have 3 sig fig here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sig fig here. So I will write the final answer in 3 significant figures now. So divide ko muna. Sabi ng calcu, 0.07555959156, no? So yan. So again, 3 sig fig, no? So I'll start counting at the first non-zero digit from the left, no? So dito yan. So this 1, 2, 3. Cut natin dyan. Looking at the number on the right side, that's 5. So we have to round it up, no? So we can write the final answer as 0.0756. No? Ayan. And lastly, ayusin ko yung box ko. And lastly, we have 7.55 times 10 raised to 4. Minus talaga. Sige, minus. Naligaw eh na. So minus 8.62 times 10 raised to 3. Again, this is addition, subtraction. So we follow the decimal places. No? We have 2 decimal places here, 2 decimal places here. So the final answer is in 2 decimal places. Okay? So subtract natin yan. But first, I have to make the exponents the same. So I will rewrite this, no? Gagawin ko siyang exponent 4. Kahit ano naman, okay lang. That will still give you the same answer, no? Okay, so ano ginawa ko? Yung second, subtrahend ko. So I move the decimal point to the left side. So I can add 1 to my exponent there. So I have 0.862 times 10 raised to 4. Na? And ayan na. I have the same exponents, then I can subtract them. So yan, this is 6.638 times 10 raised to 4. But again, 2 decimal places, no? It up. And so 8 yun nasa right side, so we round it up. So this becomes 6.64 times 10 raised to 4. And that is our final answer. And that marks the end of the discussion for this part. No? Ayan. So nakuha niyo naman po ba yung mga answers natin? Tama naman lahat?
Doon lang, sir, sa positive tsaka negative.
Saan yan?
Nagkamali.
Dito sa J?
Sa J tsaka sa letter E po.
Sa J, yung ingat lang sa exponent,
Yung exponent po yung hindi ko napansin.
Ayan,
Nalitoran
ingat.
na. Pero pag multiplication tsaka
Sabi mo.
division po, hindi na po pinapansin eh.
Mhm.
Pag multiplication and division na po, hindi na po
Kasi pag multiplication division, inaano sila, pinagsasama.
pinagsasama.
Diba? We add or subtract the exponents. For addition, multiplication, division. Pero pag addition, subtraction,
May
kailangan parehas.
may possibilities ba sir na mag-exam tayo nakasama yun, no? Yung cube, yung centimeter, variables.
Ay, mga units.
Units po pala. Units saka yan.
Yung units, ano lang yan? Pa-epal ko lang yan.
Okay.
Number lang kasi talaga yan.
Baka kasi
Pero
bigla
if you're going to write the units, edi pwede naman, no? Lagay natin yung units, no?
I mean sir, kung ano kunwari yung mag-convert pa tayo ng units.
Kasama talaga yun, no? Kasama yun sa, ano, di ba? Na-discuss last time.
Opo.
So, kasama siya. Yun yung medyo tricky. No? So, again, magkasundo tayo. Lahat bang ito ay yung significant figures ba kailangan natin gamitin sa kahit anong problem, no? Bibigyan ko kayong tip, no? Although sa mismong questionnaire, ilalagay ko dun kung isasama nyo yung significant figures or not, no? Pero for the questions that involve significant figures, no, you have to follow the rules, no? Pero kapag kunwari mga kapag mga kapag density calculation, conversions, no? So yun, pwede na kahit 2 decimal places sa akin. Okay na ako doon. Basta tignan nyo na lang yung choices, no? Look sa choices kung ano yung pinakamalapit na answer. Then, yun, piliin nyo ano. Kasi na-discuss na natin tong dimensional analysis na. Ito yung conversion lang last time. Nakwentuhan nga natin ito. By the way, extension na lang tayo ng significant figures. No? Meron kasing numbers na tinatawag na exact numbers. What are the exact numbers? We have 3 types of the exact numbers. We have integers, we have transcendentals, and we have conversion factors. No? Okay, so tatlo yung uri ng exact number natin. So let's go first sa ano naman kung ano exact number siya. No? So ganito kasi, an exact number. When we have an exact number, we do not count its significant figures. Huwag mo bilangin yung significant figures niya. Because according sa kwento sa baba ng slide, they are considered to have an infinite number of significant figures. So, we just disregard those numbers, no? Okay, so ano yung mga conversion factors? Yan yung mga ginaganito natin last time, no? Okay. So, when counting for the significant figures, no? Ang magmamatter lang is itong sa given quantity, no? Yan lang yung magmamatter, 3 sig fig siya, di ba? Ito, hindi natin bibilangin yung sig fig yan because this is a conversion factor, no? So this is an exact number. So again, exact number kapag may conversion factor, no? So don't count na ito ay ambiguous, ito 1 sig fig, no? So yan, wala yan, no? Wala. Hindi natin papansinin yan. Okay, so if you're going to write your final answer in proper significant figures, kunwari, yan yung given natin. We will write this instead as 1.63 times 10 raised to 3 ml. If you are asked to observe sig figs, no? So ganun, you just count kung ilang sig fig to, 3 sig fig yan. Hindi nagmamatter yung conversion factor. So, ito 3 sig fig to, so dapat ito ay 3 sig fig din, no? So we do that by writing it in scientific notation, no? Because again, this case is ambiguous, diba? So you write this in scientific notation. So, yun. Pero, hindi ko naman ito masyado pinofocus, kaya don't worry. Konti lang yung inaano ko dito. Siguro, ang question lang dito, which of the following is not an exact number? Bibigyan ko kayo ng conversion factor, bibigyan ko kayo ng transcendental, bibigyan ko kayo ng integer. Tapos mamimili kayo doon kung sino sa choices yung hindi belong dito sa tatlong to. So, ganun lang. Just for simplicity. Okay. So, yan. So, for conversion factors, we do not count its significant figures. So, we follow the sig fig of the given units, no? Such as yung ginawa natin dito. So, kailangan kung ilang sig fig ng given, yun dapat ang sig fig ng answer. If necessary, no? If kinailangan. Pero, babawasan ko na lang yung mga ganong cases para madali buhay natin. Next type of exact number is transcendental. Transcendental, this is a calculus term. Ano yung transcendental? It is an irrational number. Example would be pi, Euler's number, square root of 2. No. So yan, yung mga pi, hindi natin yan kinakount as 3 significant figures kasi 3.14, no. Hindi natin papansinin yung mga pi na yan, no. Okay, kasi sabi nga natin infinite significant figures yan. So yan, we don't count the sig fig for those numbers. Basta any irrational numbers, don't mind them, no. Integers, no. So yung integers, yun yung mga whole number lang, no. So yun. Kunwari, you are asked to divide a number by 3. Kunwari, you have 3 measurements, 3.4 ml plus, kunwari, you're asked to get the average of the 3 measurements. Siyempre, di-divide mo yan sa 3. Diba? Sum divided by 3. And on 3, kung mapapansin natin, that is an integer lang, no? So, single number lang siya. So, pag may single number kayo nakikita, that's exact number. And, yun, hindi natin papansinin yung 3 na yan, no? So, hindi meaning na may ganyan is 1 sig fig, no? Huwag nyo na lang pansinin basta may single digit kayong nakita. So, yun shortcut. But anyway, yung coverage na to sa quiz, bawasan ko, no? Mga isang item lang. So, ganun. Para madali ang buhay natin. So, anyway, yun lang, no? So, you have questions about that or okay naman? Clarifications?
Wala naman po, sir.
Wala naman. Basta kapag exact number, it would be a conversion factor. It could also be a transcendental or irrational number such as pi, Euler's number, square root of 2, so on so forth. No? Integers, ito yung mga whole number lang. No? Usually single digit. No? So, yan. And last part, no? Okay, patapos na tayo. Okay. So, when we are doing measurements, no, we usually assess our accuracy and precision. No? Accuracy tells you how close you are to the correct value, meaning tamang-tama yung pagkakuha mo na measurement. No? And we have precision, which tells you how close your measurements are to one another. No? Pag sinabing precision, meaning dikit-dikit, no? Your measurements are close to one another, regardless if it is accurate or not accurate, no? You can be precise, but it is not necessarily equivalent to being accurate, no? So, hindi porket precise, accurate na, no? Okay. Iba yung meaning kasi ng accuracy. Accuracy requires precision as well, no? But unlike accuracy, yung precision, basta magkakadikit lang kayo. Yan. No? So in measurement, no, dalawang types yung pang-categorize natin sa ating measurements, no? Accuracy, the closeness to the true value. If you are far away from the true value, then hindi ka accurate, no? Pag malapit ka or you're exactly on the correct value, you are accurate. No? When you say precision, the distance of all your measurements. No? If kalat-kalat yan, hindi ka precise. No? Pag dikit-dikit yan, precise yan. No? So, yun lang. So, for first part, that is accurate and precise. Accurate because, yun, nandun siya sa true value niya, yun sa bullseye niya, no? Sa target value niya. Precise siya because dikit-dikit, no? The measurements are within a certain range only. Okay? So, the second figure tells us that it is precise but not accurate. No? Dikit-dikit sila. Yes, precise yun. But they are still far from being true. No? So, hindi sila accurate. No? And lastly, if your data are spread out, no? Kalat-kalat yung data nyo, edi hindi ka na accurate. You are not also precise. No? So, yun na. So, I believe that's the end of chapter 1. No? So, I hope na in our first week of classes, you learned something. No? So, I hope na despite of conducting these classes in an online fashion is that yun, you still learn. Pero yun. No? So yun, do you have any questions or clarifications?
Wala naman po, sir.
Wala naman po. So, si Mariel. Answer, sige. So, yun, with that, no, so we will end our class early, no. So, you can have your lunch if you have not eaten yet, no. And you can have your merienda if you want, no. So, kailan tayo, sir, mag-quiz, no? Next week ako mag-open, no. So, I will give 5 days for you to answer that quiz, no. So, nikaprocess ko pa yung quiz niya. Mamimili pa ako ng choices, no. So, yun. So, I hope, no, na if you have any clarification, okay lang. Ako rin medyo bad din yung connection. Pero yun, no. So, I hope na, na if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me, no. Wala naman. Sayang kasi mo grade, no. So, yun. So, with that, no, for
Tapos na ba? Or nawala ng net si sir?
Di ko na rin po siya makita eh.
Basta, narinig ko na udbit yung sinabi ni sir, tapos nawala. Baka nawala ng net.
nawala ako. Naglaro ko yung internet na naman na converge. So anyway, so yun lang naman yung end ng chapter. No? So if you have any questions, message na lang ako, ha? So I think that's all for today. No? Sige. Sensya na nawala yung internet. Sige. So thank you, and yung recording ng class natin ay andito naman, no? Sa chat box natin. So, sige, salamat po, and thank you for your participation.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat din. Bye-bye. So, pwede na tayong mag-leave. Sensya na, bigla nawala. Stress na naman yung converge. Sige, bye-bye po, and thank you. Okay, so bye-bye.